Me and my wife witnessed on a dead body in her freezer.
In 2017, a peaceful Ohio neighborhood was shaken when a beloved woman mysteriously vanished from her home, leaving her family and community in a state of shock and uncertainty. As days turned into months, her loved ones clung to hope, imagining every possible scenario that could explain her sudden disappearance. The waiting was agonizing, filled with sleepless nights, desperate searches, and unanswered questions. But nothing could have prepared them for the devastating truth that eventually emerged. When the horrifying details of her fate were finally uncovered, it became clear that reality was far more gruesome and heartbreaking than anything they had dared to imagine. The revelation not only shattered their hopes, but also exposed a dark and terrifying reality lurking much closer to home than they had ever expected.
Right now, Arturo Novoa and Katrina Layton are only charged with abuse of a corpse.
Something was off.
We discovered that in April of 2017, the Youngstown Police Department towed Shannon's car, and we had actually had it in our impound lot.
Shannon's car was being driven by her boyfriend, Arturo Novoa.
The situation escalated in summer of 2017 when Shannon suddenly went missing. The first indication that something was wrong with Shannon came when she failed to attend her sister's Debbie birthday party in March of that year, an absence that was completely out of character for her. Known as a free spirit with a wide circle of friends, Shannon was the type to always make time out for family events. Her family initially assumed she was just busy and would reach out later, but her unexpected absence began to raise concerns. It wasn't unusual for Shannon to just vanish out of the blue. That was so typical of her, said Kate Morrow, a friend of Shannon's. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the community as her friends and family launched a desperate search and made public pleas for her safe return. The investigation soon revealed chilling details that would forever change the lives of those who knew her. As months passed and the family started to realize no one had actually spoken with Shannon in quite some time, alarm bells began to go off. Shannon's dog had been abandoned and her belongings remained intact. Shannon was said to love animals so much, and her dog was like her child, her baby, and she would never abandon her dog. And that made it a very clear sign that something was very, very wrong. Debbie's fears intensified, leading her to report Shannon's disappearance to the police, triggering an investigation. When Shannon's disappearance was finally reported in June, she had been out of touch for several months, leaving investigators with a complex and urgent puzzle. Faced with the challenge of piecing together her last known movement, they promptly requested her phone record and delved into the intricacies of her personal life, hoping to uncover clues that might lead to her whereabouts. To her family's knowledge, Shannon had been living with her boyfriend when she disappeared, so the police turned to Arturo Novoa for answers. He stuck to his story that they had split up and that Shannon had moved to Cleveland to be with another man. Without a clear timeline for her, it was difficult for the police to move ahead with the investigation and verify Arturo's alibi. This further deepened the mystery of the case and fueling even more suspicion. The investigation took a turn when police interviewed John, a former boyfriend of Shannon's. John, who ran a roofing business and had a criminal record for drug dealing. The relationship had ended while John was in prison, which had left him bitter, according to Shannon's acquaintances. Adding to the intrigue, John had been released from prison shortly before Shannon's disappearance. John had both motive and opportunity, the police department revealed. However, John insisted he hadn't seen Shannon since February and claimed she had mentioned giving her current boyfriend, Novoa, another chance. He also confessed to still harboring feelings for Shannon, casting a shadow of doubt over his story. With two suspects, Novoa and John, but zero evidence, police needed a break. Her cell phone record finally came in, but revealed absolutely nothing. Those records show near the end of February, Shannon had traveled to do her job as usual, but then the trail went absolutely cold. Her phone had been turned off, and the number was assigned to someone else. Around the same time, activity on Shannon's credit card also stopped. The police had hit a dead end in the case with no new leads. However, on July 30th, a crucial breakthrough emerged when Ken Eisenball made a 911 call from his home in Youngstown. Eisenball and his wife Jill had discovered a woman's dismembered remains wrapped in garbage bag inside their freezer. Her head conspicuously absent. The shocking find sent ripples through the investigation. Police questioned the couple, who said that the freezer belonged to a friend whose power had gone out and needed to store it, and had brought it by around a week ago. Jill said that she had been searching for ground beef to make meatballs when she was surprised to find a padlock on the friend's freezer. She was able to open the lock using a screwdriver, but inside it she found piles of black bag and a bucket, all of which were accompanied by a horrible smell. She had her husband investigate. He opened up one of the bags and saw what looked like a human foot. When questioned by the police separately, the couple had consistent stories, and so they were ruled out as suspects. The police had also learned that Novoa had gotten into a relationship with a woman named Katrina Layton, who had moved in 2 weeks after the last time Shannon was seen alive. Police hauled the couple in for questioning and searched the apartment, where they found a meat cleaver, blood on the walls, and an owner's manual to the deep freezer where Shannon's remains were found.
And Katrina Layton with abuse of a corpse. They remain in jail tonight. Shannon Graves' sister told 27 First News that Shannon dated Novoa and lived with him in an apartment on Youngstown's west side. In court yesterday, Youngstown City Prosecutor Dana Lance said just after Graves was last seen 5 months ago, Layton moved in, drove Graves' car, used her cell phone, and even cared for her dog. Then on July 24th, a witness told police Layton and Novoa moved a padlocked freezer to a Devitt Avenue home in Camel. 5 days later, the homeowner called police after finding human remains inside.
As police pieced together their case, Shannon's ex-boyfriend, John, became a key player in the quest for justice. John had spoken with several people who knew Shannon and learned that a friend named Steve had hosted a bonfire that Novoa attended. At that bonfire, Novoa reportedly burned what appeared to be personal belongings. When police visited Steve's house, they found the pit still intact and managed to recover crucial evidence from the ashes, including a bracelet that had once belonged to Shannon. Investigators also interviewed Steve, who revealed that Novoa had claimed he was burning Shannon's clothes out of anger, accusing her of infidelity. Steve added that another friend, Andrew Herman, had arrived at the bonfire with Novoa, and both men were seen tossing Shannon's items into the flame that night. Multiple suspects were summoned to testify before a grand jury, where the twisted truth, or at least fragments of it, began to emerge. The trial that followed exposed the depth of Arturo's manipulative and callous nature. Evidence revealed that he had meticulously planned Shannon's murder, coercing and manipulating Katrina into aiding him. Arturo saw Shannon as nothing more than an obstacle, a barrier to the life he envisioned with Katrina. In his mind, our elimination was not just necessary, but justified. Throughout the trial, the courtroom was gripped with the chilling details of the case. Witnesses testified to Arturo's controlling demeanor, how he systematically isolated Katrina and fed her insecurities to ensure her loyalty. The prosecution painted a picture of a man driven by insatiable need to dominate and control, willing to go to any length to rid himself of Shannon, the last remaining link to a life he desperately wanted to forget. Andrew Herman revealed that Novoa had called him over to his house one day, and upon arriving, he was horrified to find Shannon's lifeless body. According to Herman, Novoa claimed that Leighton had unalived Shannon by striking her in the head with a hammer. The gruesome details didn't stop there. Herman alleged that it was Novoa who suggested taking the body apart. The pair attempted to use sulfuric acid to dissolve the remains, but they realized that they did not have enough acid to completely dispose of the body. They then purchased a freezer to store what was left of Shannon's remains. The evidence was compelling enough to indict both Novoa and Leighton. Facing potential death sentences, they opted for plea deals. Novoa received a life sentence, while Leighton and Herman were each sentenced to 12 years in prison. By October 2018, Leighton's plea deal was in jeopardy. Prosecutors moved to rescind the agreement, accusing her of breaching the terms by failing to be fully honest and cooperative. This dramatic turn of events injected a fresh wave of intrigue into the already complex case, as Leighton's shifting stance threatened to unravel the entire legal strategy. Shannon's murder not only devastated her family and friends, but also highlighted the dangers of toxic relationships and the potential for violence lurking beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. Shannon's case drew significant media attention as the detail of Shannon's tragic fate came to light, and Arturo Novoa was eventually brought to justice for his heinous crime. In the aftermath, Shannon's friends and family have sought to honor her memory, remembering her as a loving, vibrant young lady who was taken far too soon. Her story serves as a stark reminder of the importance of heeding the warning signs in relationship and the devastating consequences that can arise when they are ignored. Please stay tuned for more twisted tales in true crime. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for update on our latest video.